Good morning, YouTube. So this is my second video of the morning. That's my habit of presentation on YouTube. I do a longer video of an art piece, put that on my art only YouTube page, and usually forget to link that in the description. So don't be surprised if it's not there. But you can find my other YouTube page at Michael Angel Studios, and that's Angel spelt with 2 L's. So today I'm going to show you another early sculpture called The Keepers of the God-Cocoon. So here it is. So this piece is 17 inches tall by 12 by 12 at the base. That's a decommissioned UFO that the fairy village is built on, and that's the god-cocoon that they found. So the story goes that fairies stumbled across this very odd cocoon that they knew was ultra significant and that it needed to be caretaken. So they lugged it back, stationed it on top of this decommissioned UFO, and built a fairy village around it. So that village is ultimately a caretaking community specifically dedicated to this cocoon. And that's it. There's not really a long narrative around this piece. Maybe someday I'll do a sculpture of what the cocoon formed into. Probably a moth of some kind. I tend to gravitate more towards moths than butterflies. You can see nestled in the headdress, there are 2 characters, kind of a duck-like character, and then I'm not altogether sure what the other one is. Some kind of trickster, pixie, maybe. This is a 3-piece mold. You've got the decommissioned UFO with the fairy village. That's one pour. The god cocoon is solid pewter, which is another, and then the headdress. And again, you can find a longer explanation on my other YouTube page. But it takes a bit to set all this up, to get it recording, and that's why I do these double videos, because it just feels more in tune with honoring the effort to set all this up, to take advantage of its existence to be videoed. And here it is. So I'm going to switch back over to the main screen once this comes back around facing us. This is edition 1 of 1. I don't do multiple editions, as I've explained in earlier videos. My main desire is to simply keep creating more works, and these are quite labor intensive. So by the time I'm done finalizing the pewter version, I'm pretty complete. High definition setting in YouTube is good, and maybe to enlarge the screen as well to get the full impact of the detail. So that's the god cocoon. and the fairy village keepers who are taking care of it. So this morning, it's going to be a short video, probably about 10 minutes. I want to touch on something I saw yesterday, and there was a video that someone I watched from time to time, Hassan Piker, he was looking at a YouTube short or some kind of interview with a MAGA individual, and the interviewer of the MAGA member was asking him certain questions that would normally elicit like a reasoning factor, like a more of an intellectual prompting. And it was as if the common sense side of things by the person hearing the questions was completely bypassed. And Hassan's reaction was that he has no thought at all in his mind. There's nothing in his head, which generally implies like some sort of idiocy of some kind. And so not that I'm pushing back on that. I think that, not that I think that that's a valid observation, but it's like a predictable observation, because basically you're the third party React streamer watching the interview. Okay. So you're already removed two places. One, the first place is the person being interviewed. The second place is the interviewer. The third place is the person watching this interview. So that's already somewhat of a disadvantage. But ultimately, it is what it is. You see someone, they're being asked a thoughtful question, and they don't think. It doesn't prompt a kind of an analysis or an analytical process to occur in this person's mind around morals, the morals of certain actions by Trump, the consequences, deliberation, like not how, but it doesn't elicit from the person being asked the question deliberation. So then the reaction is, well, this person's, well, for lack of a better word, stupid, that they have nothing in their head. And so here's my take on it. Everyone has something in their head, unless, of course, you don't have a head. And that's for another video. My impression is this: when MAGA members bypass reasoning and deliberation, they're showing you their cards, which is obvious. Like it's meant to be. Those are the cards that it holds in a very valid way, and that is that they are not in MAGA for deliberation or reasoning or self-examination. It's an emotional quest, and for good or bad, regardless of the outcome, it's an emotional project. And so the person being interviewed would not have anything going on above the chin, because that is not his reason for being in that sphere of influence. His reason for being is emotional. It has to do with feelings and hidden agendas that those feelings are connected to. So it's something to consider that self-sabotage can be advantageous to the misery loves company psychology. And much of MAGA is about self-sabotage. It is about feasting upon the negative and complaining and reacting, like a reactionary buffet. So just keep that in mind when you think that MAGA is stupid. It's not about intelligence. It's not about triggering the reasoning factor in the humans that are involved in that movement. They are in the movement for emotional reasons. And thinking and reasoning is their enemy because that diminishes the emotional quest for the kind of food that they need. Again, misery loves company. So on that premise, the man who's being considered scatterbrained or stupid, Trump mirrors something for him, for good or bad. He needs Trump as either a brother figure, a father figure, or even perhaps a son figure. There's a linkage occurring emotionally. He could also be vicariously living through Trump. His inner Trump is getting off on the results of Trump. And even if those results are bad for him in the pragmatic world, it's a success as an emotional catharsis. Even revenge against himself, self-deprecation, self-judgment, self-sabotage, selfishness, all these things are indigenous to MAGA. And so just remember that it's a shadow cult. It is not a middle ground cult or a centrist cult. It is specifically a shadow cult. So it feeds the shadow. And all that implies is not, well, I'll deduct the word all. Let's say what that implies is they're not looking for solutions. They're looking for solutions, a kind of solution that creates more problems. So it's a problematic solution. It's chaos wisdom or crazy wisdom. So think about that. A problematic solution. That is where they're at. And this is the logic of the emotional world, which is a very different kind of logic because it's based on a catharsis around trauma, resentment, regret, revenge, all the R's. And of course, Israel is in lockstep with MAGA because they're doing the same thing, Israeli style, but hyper shadow cult. So you have two shadow cults feeding off of each other. Two snakes swallowing their tails, locked in an embrace that is getting tighter and tighter until it becomes a disconcerting ball of serpentine tension. And we'll see where this goes. So that's pretty much it. That's my my morning bit. So thank you for supporting the channel. Like and subscribe, share the channel. Feel free to leave a comment. And onward into my day. I wish you a good rest of the week ahead. Take care.